We've been studying about Abraham, and we got him into Canaan's land last week, which is this area here. And I hope to have the map that's more specific to it by next week. But this is roughly where he was settling. He was near the Jordan River, which is this black line right here. And we are in the story of Abraham is in the book of Genesis. And remember, Genesis has 3 parts. The first part tells us about Adam and Eve and Noah. The second part tells us about the 3 patriarchs. And the third part about Joseph. Well, Abraham is the first of the 3 patriarchs. The founders of the Israelite nation and the lineage for Christ. When Abraham left the area where he lived with his dad, and he came down to where God led him to, his nephew Lot came with him. And both of them were actually very rich men. God had blessed them and provided them with a lot of cattle and servants and things. Well, this area of the world is not always very lush and green, doesn't get a lot of rain. And it came to the point where Lot's servants were fighting with Abraham's servants because there wasn't enough grass and water to go around for both of their family's holdings. And so the servants were starting to fight over the land and the grazing and the watering and all of that. So Abraham said, I know what we need to do, Lot. You come with me. They went up on a tall mountain, and Abraham said, you look out, Lot, and you pick. If you go that way, I'll go that way. If you go that way, I'll go that way. And by spreading out, we'll have enough food for all of our animals, and our households will be fine, because I don't want us to be at war with each other. So Lot was looking around, and he looked out by where the Jordan River was running, and it was lush, and it was green, and it was beautiful out that direction. So Lot said, you know what, I'm going that way. And he went out towards where the Jordan River was, near the city of Sodom. And that's probably our first lesson. When we make a decision in life, we need to pray about it and seek God's guidance, because not good things came from him being so near Sodom. His life would have been better off if he hadn't gone that direction. So he should have sought God's guidance before making his selection. But he chose that area, the valley by the Jordan River with the city of Sodom. After he chose, God spoke to Abraham. And God said, Abraham, I want you to look up and I want you to look around. So Abraham looked out over the entire area that he could see from where he was. God said, Abraham, I will give to you and your descendants all of the land you can see. And he could see quite a bit of land. And we know that down the road, when Israel came back from Egypt, they conquered that land. And they held that land from the time of Joshua until they were carried away from Babylon, and then they came back and held it again until AD 70. That was their land. His descendants through Isaac, his descendants through Ishmael still hold that land today. The Arabic people are descended from Abraham, and they still hold not just what he could have seen from that, but the whole peninsula. So God fulfilled his promise to Abraham. And that's especially special because Abraham was around 90 years old, 95 maybe, somewhere in there. And he didn't have any children yet. So it was a real special promise that Abraham had to take on faith. He couldn't see how God was going to fulfill that. But he took it on faith that God would answer and supply for what he had promised to Abraham. So let's sing our song.
Do you want to do Father Abraham?
Let's put that off till next week, and hopefully my neck isn't kinked up. I'm not sure I could do it today. I'm in, right out, right down, right happy all the time. I'm in, right out, right down, right happy all the time. Since Jesus Christ came in and cleansed my heart from sin, I'm in, right out, right down, right happy all the time. I'm in, right out, right down, right happy all the time. I'm in, right out, right down, right happy all the time. Since Jesus Christ came in and cleansed my heart from sin, I'm in, right out, right down, right happy all the time. I'm in, right out, right down, right happy all the time. I'm in, right out, right down, right happy all the time. Since Jesus Christ came in and cleansed my heart